to Deep Sleep Stories. Thank you to everyone who's been listening. If these stories help you relax or fall asleep, a short review, comment, or sharing the podcast with someone who might benefit is a simple and meaningful way to support the show so that we may continue to offer it for free. Now, take a slow, gentle breath and let's begin tonight's story.
Welcome to Deep Sleep Stories, a cozy place where you can leave your worries behind. Tonight, you are invited to drift into an enchanted woodland where gentle creatures gather to prepare for cooler nights. Take a moment now to rest against your pillows, releasing the tension of the day with each soft breath. Let your eyes relax, letting them grow heavy in the comforting darkness. The hush of evening settles all around you as you become open to the soothing magic of this story. Inhale slowly, savoring the warm, peaceful air that surrounds you, and feel your chest rise with each calm breath. As you exhale, allow every thought and concern to flow away like a gentle stream, washing your troubles off into the distant horizon. Notice how your body grows heavier in the comfort of your bed. The evening is soft, welcoming you into a realm where your only task is to let go and listen. Now picture a serene forest path in your mind's eye. Tall trees stand in a timeless hush, their leaves whispering in a language older than you can remember. The ground beneath your feet is cool, carpeted with moss that cushions your step. A distant glow hints at a moonlit clearing where you might meet delightful inhabitants. Keep breathing in that relaxed rhythm. Let your muscles unwind, and know this journey will be gentle, guiding you toward restful slumber. Feel your breath grow deeper, your mind quieter, as you prepare to enter a peaceful realm where imagination flows like a slow, winding river. Soon you will float into a place filled with friendly creatures and shimmering starlight, all nestled amid the tranquil hush of the forest. Let the story unfold around you, easing you further into calmness. Now, allow your thoughts to settle and invite the narrative to gently carry you onward. The forest that extends through these enchanted lands has watched over many seasons. Once when the air began to grow crisp and the night sky shimmered with early autumn constellations, a community of woodland creatures busied themselves beneath the tall, protective trees. The branches overhead seemed to bend and sway in quiet discussion, as though carrying gentle messages between the stars and the earth below. This was not a place of urgent bustle, but a realm of quiet rhythms, where every creature took its own measured steps. In the heart of this forest, a small clearing stood open to the moonlight. Soft grass lay underfoot, and the gentle glow of luminescent mushrooms cast a faint pearlescence across the leaf-strewn ground. Near the center of the clearing rested a sparkling pond, reflecting the night sky so perfectly that it appeared as a second heaven. It was here that the woodland creatures often gathered, greeting one another with quiet calls and kind gestures. Among these creatures lived a young fox named Juniper. Her fur was the color of autumn leaves, blending seamlessly with the foliage around her. She had an air of curiosity and kindness that endeared her to everyone. Late in the evening, she would trot down the winding paths, her ears alert to the rustle of every leaf and the whisper of every breeze. Her eyes shone like small lanterns in the dimness, guiding her through the gentle hush of dusk. Across the forest, by a tumbling brook, lived Willow the rabbit, who spent her days nibbling on tender clover patches near the water's edge. Willow had soft gray fur and delicate pink ears that pivoted at the faintest sound. She listened to the forest's quiet symphony, the lapping water, chirping crickets, and sighing trees, and found harmony in the gentle patterns of nature. As evenings grew cooler, she sensed the subtle shift of the seasons in the crispness of the air. Not far away, in an ancient oak's hollow trunk, nested a family of small owls. The mother owl, known simply as Celeste, had eyes that glowed like moonlit orbs. Perched on a sturdy branch, she kept watch over her little ones, ensuring each was snug and warm as the nights lengthened. When the wind rustled through the canopy, she would hoot softly, a maternal lullaby drifting out to guide others through the nocturnal hush. The forest itself seemed to hum with expectancy. A gentle ripple ran through the ferns whenever the wind changed, carrying the promise of nights that would soon be touched by the cool breath of early winter. The leaves, once vibrant and green, began wearing shades of yellow, orange, and red, dancing down to rest on the forest floor. Everything grew quieter, calmer. It was the season for reflection and preparation. Juniper the fox, keen to ensure everyone was ready for the shifting weather, decided to embark on a journey around the forest. She wanted to see if each friend had found a safe, warm place to rest. Slipping through the dusky light, she padded gently past tree trunks covered in soft moss. She paused by a patch of pale moon flowers, their petals just opening to greet the cool air. In the soft luminescence, she noted how tranquil everything felt. Even the fireflies perched on the tips of tall grass seemed to flicker a bit more lazily. She first visited Willow, who was sipping from the clear brook. The rabbit's nose twitched at her approach, picking up a faint rustle of brush before Juniper emerged into view. With a smile that crinkled the corners of her bright eyes, Willow greeted the fox. They exchanged gentle words, their voices hushed like the breeze slipping through leaves. Willow spoke of her plans for the cooler nights, how she'd found a cozy nook beneath an old tree root. There she'd collected soft tufts of grass and dried leaves to keep her snug. Juniper nodded with approval, her tail sweeping gracefully around her paws. She could already imagine the safe space Willow described, dry, hidden from the wind, perfect for nesting. And as they talked, the shimmering flow of the brook soothed them both, its ever-present song weaving contentment into their conversation. Soon, Willow hopped a few paces away to show Juniper the hollow she'd prepared. It was nestled among thick roots, sheltered beneath the protective arm of a large willow tree, giving the rabbit her namesake. After sharing a warm farewell, Juniper continued on her path, guided by dappled moonbeams filtering through the canopy. She passed a family of hedgehogs, nosing around a pile of fallen leaves, each one checking the dryness of the bedding they planned to use for a well-deserved rest. When they spotted Juniper, they paused to wave little paws in greeting, a soft chittering that meant all was well. Further along, Juniper found Celeste, the owl, perched near the mouth of her hollow in the old oak. The mother owl fluttered her wings in welcome, ruffling the soft down that lined her chest. When Juniper looked up, she saw the 3 owlets nestled close inside, blinking wide, curious eyes down at their visitor. Celeste lowered her voice to a near whisper, explaining that she had added new layers of cushioning to the nest. She brought in fresh moss and bits of soft bark to insulate the hollow and keep her family warm. Satisfied with her friend's preparations, Juniper continued through the woods, each step light and unhurried. At times she paused to admire the glittering tapestry of stars, newly visible through the thinning canopy overhead. The forest breathed with her, its hush so comforting, she felt a serene contentment growing in her heart. She thought about how, in this enchanted realm, each creature looked after the other in subtle, meaningful ways. Soon she ventured into a quieter corner of the forest, where ancient stones jutted from the ground, forming a natural grotto. A silver stream trickled through it, winding around smooth rocks before cascading into a gentle waterfall. The water sparkled under the moon's soft glow, spraying a fine mist that kissed the air with a cool glimmer. Moonlight glanced off the stones, making the entire scene feel like a hidden sanctuary. Here, tucked among moss-covered rocks, lived a family of chipmunks preparing for colder nights. In a snug little burrow, the earthy aroma of damp stone and living greenery blended into a comforting perfume. Juniper observed how the chipmunks had gathered seeds and nuts, storing them carefully in the deepest part of their abode. Their spirited chatter was muted in respect for the hush that enveloped the forest each evening. All around the woodland echoed with gentle signs of readiness. Squirrels hopped from branch to branch, tucking away acorns in hidden caches, always mindful of the changing season. Small songbirds perched quietly, fluffing their feathers to trap warmth, and drifted into soft slumber. Even the wind, drifting through the leaves, carried a languid quality, as though it too prepared for a quieter time. As the night wore on, Juniper made her way toward the heart of the forest clearing, where the pond shimmered under moonlight. It was here that many of the creatures would gather in the later hours, exchanging news and companionship before settling in for the night. The pond's surface reflected the moon in a dreamy glow, like a silver coin floating in the darkness. Arriving at the clearing, Juniper found an old, wise turtle named Humboldt resting on a smooth rock near the water's edge. The turtle's shell bore the subtle patterns of the forest's lore, etched in earthy browns and greens. When he spotted Juniper, he lifted his wrinkled head and offered a patient smile. His eyes shone with acceptance, as if he carried centuries of quiet knowledge within him. "Good evening," he greeted gently. "It's a fine night to be awake, listening to the forest breathe." Juniper agreed, settling beside him and gazing across the pond. Fireflies blinked lazily in the reeds, and the stars seemed to twinkle in harmony with the subtle chirps of crickets. Here, in this velvety hush, conversation flowed in gentle murmurs, unhurried by time. Humboldt explained that he too was making small adjustments for the cooler nights. He had found a secluded spot under a rock shelf where the ground stayed a bit warmer. He planned to spend the colder hours tucked away, sleeping deeply in the kindness of the earth. Juniper nodded, relieved that every creature she met seemed aware of the shifting seasons and prepared in their own way. While Juniper and Humboldt spoke, the faint glow of moonlight illuminated the slender figure of a deer stepping into the clearing. This was Althea, a graceful doe who carried herself with quiet dignity. Her large eyes sparkled, reflecting the gentle luminescence of the surrounding forest. She greeted the fox and the turtle with a soft dip of her head, her slender legs barely making a sound on the grass. The doe spoke of the meadow beyond the trees, where the grasses had begun to fade from green to softer browns. She could tell it was time to find better shelter among the denser parts of the forest, safe from the chill that crept in at dusk. Althea had discovered a hidden glade, ringed by thick bushes that kept the wind at bay, where she would rest with her fawn once the cold set in more firmly. As the night deepened, more gentle conversations dotted the clearing, each accompanied by the subtle melody of rustling leaves and the hush of moonlit water. Now and then, a breeze would drift through, carrying the delicate fragrance of wild flowers and pine. Juniper felt a profound calm. The forest, in its subtle and persistent rhythms, was showing her the simple, sacred act of living in harmony with nature's cycles. One by one, creatures began to depart, returning to their nests, hollows, or cozy dens. The chipmunks scampered off with cheeks still bulging with seeds. The hedgehogs waddled toward their leaf piles, and Willow hopped back to her snug spot beneath the tree root. The owlets gazed from high in the oak tree, blinking slowly as their mother gently ushered them towards sleep. Juniper lingered by the pond with Humboldt and Althea, soaking in the tranquil night. Starlight shimmered in the still water, forming tiny galaxies that drifted along the surface. The hush of the forest was like a soft blanket, wrapping them in a soothing lull. Even the moonflowers at the clearing's edge swayed, adding to the gentle dance of light and shadow. Before long, Althea bid them a serene good night, her hooves tracing a silent path through the grass. As Juniper prepared to leave as well, she thanked Humboldt for his company. The old turtle blinked slowly, as though savoring every moment. With a warm smile, he slipped off the stone and eased into the dark water, disappearing in a series of gentle ripples. The surface soon calmed, reflecting the moon once more, as though nothing at all had disturbed its placid face. Turning away from the clearing, Juniper followed the winding path back toward her own den. The fox's pace was peaceful, her paws making only the slightest sound in the leaf-strewn underbrush. Here and there, the forest whispered its nightly secrets. Branches sighed in the breeze, and the distant hoot of an owl floated through the air. She was comforted by the knowledge that everyone in this woodland realm had found a warm, safe niche. Each creature's preparations blended into a grand tapestry of shared vigilance. Before reaching her den, Juniper paused by a tall oak whose trunk was thick with history. In the bark, subtle shapes hinted at generations of forest stories etched into the wood by time itself. She placed a paw gently against the trunk, closing her eyes as she listened to the tree's spirit. A faint, comforting thrum coursed through the bark, like a distant heartbeat shared by the entire forest. In her mind's eye, she saw each friend: Willow in her snug hollow, Celeste and her owlets in the tree trunk, the chipmunks in their burrow, and Althea among the protective thickets. She heard the gentle trickle of the brook, the soothing fall of water at the grotto, and the hush of the pond under moonlight. It was as though all these sounds came together in one gentle lullaby, embracing the entire forest in a shared dream. With renewed tranquility, Juniper continued her journey. The deeper she went into the woods, the quieter her mind became. She passed small clusters of mushrooms glowing softly and paused to watch a moth flutter around them, drawn to their faint light. The breeze brushed through the branches above, stirring shadows on the forest floor like shifting silhouettes in a dance performed for an audience of stars. Eventually, Juniper reached the fox den, a small, cozy hollow nestled amid the roots of a large cedar. She had prepared it for the coming chill by lining it with dried grasses, feathers that she'd found along the forest paths, and a scattering of moss. It was a comforting sanctuary where she could curl up safely, lulled by the earth's gentle warmth. Entering, she turned one last time to glance at the silent forest behind her. The night was so still she could hear the soft beat of her heart and the gentle whisper of wind through cedar boughs. A sense of belonging enveloped her. This forest was home to many, and each creature welcomed the next season with trust and calm, secure in the knowledge that every day, every moonrise brought a cycle of quiet change they had witnessed countless times before. Settling into her snug space, Juniper closed her eyes, letting the darkness fill her awareness. She listened to her own gentle breathing, matching its rhythm to the soothing hush outside. Thoughts drifted through her mind like clouds across a placid sky, then faded into the warm stillness. Little by little, she embraced the serenity that surrounded her. Before she knew it, she was carried into a gentle sleep, guided by the lullaby of the forest. Meanwhile, beyond the fox's cozy den, the woodland itself gently slumbered. In hidden nests and burrows, small hearts beat in tranquil unison. Even the trees and stones seemed to dream, swaying in occasional breezes that carried the faint scent of pine and cooling earth. The moon traveled across the sky, pouring its silver beams on leaves and grass, granting a subtle radiance to the sleeping world below. At the edge of the forest, near the meadow, Althea stood watch in peaceful vigil, her legs locked in a relaxed stance, head lowered slightly as she listened to the hush. She shifted occasionally to nibble a tuft of grass, her breath escaping in delicate puffs, though she wore the calm composure of one nearly asleep. Her ears remained attuned to every subtle whisper the forest offered. In the old oak, Celeste unfurled her wings to shield her owlets from the gentle draft, their soft, downy heads tucked beneath her feathers as they nuzzled closer, safe in the knowledge that their mother stood guard. The owlet's breathing was a faint, rhythmic flutter, soon joining the united hush that cradled the forest. Willow the rabbit, curled in her root hollow, closed her bright eyes at last. Wrapped in a nest of grass and leaves, she felt the earth's steady presence beneath her. Its silent resilience offered a sense of safety, a promise that each morning sun would rise, bringing new warmth and light. For now, the darkness was kind and welcoming, holding all living things in a gentle embrace. Out in the clearing, the pond reflected the nocturnal sky in perfect stillness. Stars glittered on its surface, and the moon's face shimmered across the gentle ripples that played near the shore. The frogs who lived by the reeds had grown quiet. Even the insects, usually so eager to sing through the night, seemed lulled by the hush. The world felt suspended in a hushed lullaby of starlight and softened breath. In the grotto where the chipmunks rested, a small beam of moonlight filtered through a crack in the stone, revealing their curled forms in the burrow's depths. They slept easily, tails wrapped around tiny bodies as they dreamed of sunny afternoons and the bright leaves that would soon coat the ground in a patchwork of autumn color. They sensed on some deep level that the forest held them gently, ensuring their rest would be undisturbed. And so time slipped by in the hush of this enchanted realm. The night sky curved above like a vast, protective dome, slowly shifted as constellations made their stately journeys across the heavens. Distant stars flickered, each one a silent reminder of the unending cycles that guide all living things. Beneath their shimmering tapestry, the forest dreamt on. As those hours passed, a soft, pre-dawn glow emerged at the horizon, faint at first, then growing gently. A mist gathered at the forest floor, swirling around trunks and fallen logs, turning the scene into a vision of ethereal quiet. The sunlight was still a distant promise, but it approached with a tender inevitability that warmed the hearts of all who slept. When morning light finally touched the highest branches, the forest roused slowly, like a gentle stirring from a pleasant dream. Birds began to chirp in soft, tentative notes, testing the cool air before bursting into full dawn chorus. Small creatures woke, stretching legs and shaking off bits of leaf that clung to them. The day's new hush, different from the night's lull, carried its own hopeful melody. Juniper opened her eyes, feeling refreshed, yet still cocooned in the afterglow of the peaceful night. She stepped out of her den to find the forest wrapped in a thin veil of mist. Dew sparkled on leaves and blades of grass, casting tiny rainbows in the early sunlight. Each droplet shimmered like a piece of spun glass, fragile and fleeting, embodying the delicate beauty of the changing season. As Juniper padded softly through the forest, she found her companions awakening one by one. Willow emerged from her root hollow, twitching her nose at the fresh scent of morning. Celeste's owlets peeked out of the oak, blinking at the gentle golden light. The chipmunks scurried up from their grotto, chattering softly as they tested the chilly air. Although the day had arrived, the comfort of the serene night lingered, weaving a sense of unity among them all. In hushed, simple ways, the creatures resumed their daily routines. Willow ventured to the brook for a quiet drink. Althea trotted carefully through the meadow, showing her fawn where the tender shoots still grew. Squirrels bustled in the canopy overhead, continuing their search for acorns to store. Every movement was wrapped in calm acceptance, as though each living thing recognized the blessing of having passed another restful night in harmony. The warm sunlight gradually gained strength, urging the mist to lift, revealing the forest's vibrant tapestry of colored leaves. A gentle breeze arrived, rustling the trees. It carried the earthy scent of damp wood and the faint, tangy hint of upcoming autumn rains. In the distance, the soft call of geese soared overhead, their echoes weaving with the rustle of leaves and the trickle of forest streams. Yet, as the forest awakened to a new day, the memory of the tranquil night lingered like a comforting echo. They had all shared the quiet together, preparing for the colder nights to come. Now each creature was reminded of the simple truth that in this place, every sign of seasonal change became an opportunity to come closer, offering help and kindness in subtle, wondrous ways. Gradually, the day stretched its arms. Sunbeams poured through breaks in the canopy, lighting the leaf-strewn floor in dappled gold. Juniper paused beside a patch of moss to bask in a moment of sunlit warmth. She closed her eyes, breathing slowly, feeling her heartbeat steady within her chest. A gentle sense of gratitude rose from deep within for the home she shared with the wise turtle, the graceful doe, the watchful owl, and so many others. Soft hours passed in the forest, bringing the gentle hum of afternoon. Yet the story's quiet heartbeat never faded. Each rustle of leaf and trickle of stream served as a lullaby in daylight, reminding everyone that the hush of night would come again soon. Creatures took their rest as they needed, unhurried, guided by the natural rhythms of this enchanted realm. Even the sun's playful dance through the foliage felt like a slow, thoughtful waltz. In this land, conflict was an occasional whisper. The days and nights were spent mostly in peaceful communion. Together they all lived by the calming knowledge that each creature's gentle presence supported the whole. By day or by night, the forest and all its inhabitants pulsed with an unspoken unity. Each arrival of cooler winds simply a new chord in their shared song. And as the arc of the sun began its lazy descent, day's warmth softened into evening's promise. Shadows lengthened, touching the forest floor in elongated shapes that seemed to stretch and yawn. The hush of twilight emerged once more, gently guiding every living thing toward a soothing encore of darkness and rest. Creatures recalled the calm of the prior night, trusting that the coming dusk would envelop them in the same gentle comfort. In the fading gold of the sun's light, each friend revisited their safe havens. They took final sips from the brook, gathered any last morsels, and cast contented glances at the world around them. They knew that with every twilight they reaffirmed their place in the quiet tapestry of life. In the near distance, a soft swirl of birds traced arcs across the pastel sky, soon vanishing into the uppermost branches for shelter. As the evening took on deeper hues, a pale moon rose again, slow and steady, watching over the tranquil land below. Stars awakened in the firmament, winking on one by one in a gradual hush. The forest leaves rustled, repeating their gentle refrain. Every trunk, leaf, petal, and stone recognized the hush, opening itself once more to the night's lullaby. It was as if the entire woodland exhaled a contented sigh. Now, gentle dreamer, it is time to let your own night unfold in soft serenity. Feel the weight of your body sink into your bed, letting every muscle loosen in a cascade of warm relaxation. The forest you have envisioned, with its rustling leaves and friendly creatures, is already settling into its gentle rhythm. You too can join that hush, letting thoughts drift away like a breeze through the tall, whispering trees. Notice how your breath has become deeper, more tranquil. Each inhale draws in comfort, and each exhale releases any lingering tension. Even the smallest muscles around your eyes and cheeks begin to relax, growing still under the canopy of restful night. Let yourself slip away from the busy day, sinking into the soft lull of dreams. The hush around you grows gentle and welcoming, like a warm cloak of starlight wrapped around your shoulders. If your mind wanders, guide it gently back to the quiet forest paths, the cool moonlit pond, the hush of friendly creatures preparing for the evening's rest. Let those images cradle you like a lullaby, carrying your thoughts into a calm and drifting space. Rest now, dear traveler, in the knowledge that peace is here whenever you desire it. Sleep invites you with open arms, ready to embrace you in the same soothing magic that fills the forest. There is nothing more you need to do, nowhere else you need to be. Let the quiet of night lull you into gentle slumber. Good night, dear traveler. Sleep well. May your dreams be as serene as a moonlit forest glade, softly lit by glowing stars and watched over by the kind spirits of the woodland. Let your breathing guide you down deeper into rest, and know that when you awaken, you can carry this tranquility with you into the day. Sleep softly and dream sweetly.